before words, every thought was trapped inside a skull. A mother could point at danger. A hunter could grunt at prey. A child could cry for help. But nobody could explain an idea. Nobody could describe tomorrow. Nobody could tell a story about last year. For most of human history, thoughts died where they were born. Then something changed, and it changed everything. Around 300,000 years ago, early humans already looked surprisingly modern. They made tools, they controlled fire, they traveled across difficult landscapes, but there is little evidence that they possessed language as rich as ours. Something was still missing. Imagine trying to explain a river you discovered yesterday. Imagine warning someone about a predator waiting beyond the hill. Imagine teaching a child something you learned years ago. Without language, knowledge travels slowly. Sometimes it does not travel at all. Every generation starts over. So where did language come from? Nobody knows for certain. Language leaves almost no fossils. Words disappear into the air, sentences leave no bones behind. Scientists must work backward from clues. One clue sits inside your head. The human brain contains specialized regions linked to language. In the 19th century, French physician Paul Broca studied patients who could understand speech but struggled to produce it. He identified an important language region, now known as Broca's area. Another researcher, Carl Wernicke, discovered a different language region involved in understanding speech. Language was not an accident. The human brain appeared to be built for it. Then scientists found another clue, a gene called FOXP2. In the early 2000s, researchers discovered that mutations in this gene could severely affect speech and language abilities. The gene is not a language switch, but it appears to play an important role. Why would evolution preserve such a system unless language mattered? And language mattered more than almost anything else. Imagine two groups of humans. One group can only gesture and imitate, the other can explain ideas. Which group survives a harsh winter? Which group teaches better hunting techniques? Which group passes knowledge to children more efficiently? The answer seems obvious. Language allowed information to survive longer than memory. For the first time, knowledge could outlive the person who discovered it. A successful hunting strategy no longer died with the hunter. A useful plant remedy no longer vanished with the healer. Ideas became immortal. That may have been humanity's greatest invention. But language did something even stranger. It allowed humans to imagine things that did not exist. A lion exists, a tree exists, a river exists, but what about a tribe? What about a nation? What about money? These are shared ideas. They only exist because many people believe in them. Together, historian Yuval Noah Harari argues that shared stories allowed humans to cooperate in enormous numbers. Other animals cooperate too, but usually in smaller groups. Humans created civilizations, not because we were the strongest, not because we were the fastest, because we could share imagined realities. Thousands of strangers could work toward the same goal. That changed history. Cities appeared, trade expanded, empires grew, knowledge accumulated. Each generation started where the last one ended. Human progress began to compound, and the effects were dramatic. For hundreds of thousands of years, humans lived relatively similar lives. Then, in only a few thousand years, we built monuments, ships, libraries, and eventually computers. What caused that explosion? Language may be one of the biggest reasons. It transformed isolated minds into a connected network. Each human became a node. Each conversation became a bridge. Each story became a container for knowledge. Even now, language shapes your reality. Every law you obey exists through language. Every school lesson depends on language. Every scientific discovery spreads through language. Even the thoughts in your head are often built from words. So, what was humanity before language? A clever animal. And what was humanity after language? A species capable of reshaping an entire planet. The strange part is that language feels ordinary. You use it every day. You barely notice it. Yet every civilization, every religion, every nation, every company, and every scientific breakthrough rests upon invisible sounds shared between minds. Language did not simply help humans communicate. Language allowed one brain to borrow the knowledge of another, and when billions of brains began sharing ideas across generations, humanity became something entirely new. The real invention was never the first word. It was the moment a thought escaped one's skull and began living forever inside others.